Neighbors called the cops on me. I moved into this neighborhood in 2017. It's a quiet, well-kept area where most people wave, smile, and lend a hand when needed. I quickly got to know a few neighbors. Barbecues, block parties, the usual suburban charm. But every neighborhood has that house. And for us, it was the elderly couple directly across the street. They've always been something of a local legend. Not the good kind. They've called the cops on everything from kids playing basketball in their driveway to a dog barking more than twice in a row. One time, someone parked with a tire touching the grass edge of the sidewalk, and they called it in like it was a felony. Screaming matches with other neighbors weren't uncommon either. Despite their reputation, I tried to be kind. I brought them leftover ribs when I grilled, collected their packages when they were left in the rain, and always waved when I saw them outside. They're elderly, he can barely walk, and she's going blind. So I even took the liberty of picking up their tattered pesticide treatment signs when they were left flapping in the wind weeks after the yard work was done. It wasn't an act of heroism, just a small favor, a neighborly gesture. I figured if I showed them kindness, maybe I'd be spared from their wrath. For years, that strategy mostly worked. Then came today. It was hot. I'd just finished mowing my lawn, and as I was heading inside, I spotted another one of their old lawn treatment signs still stuck in the ground, bent and weathered. I walked over, pulled it out like I'd done a dozen times before, and tossed it in my bin. About 45 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. A deputy stood there with a neutral expression, holding the sign I had tossed. He asked, "What's your issue with the neighbors across the street?" I blinked, confused, then realized what was going on. They had called the cops on me for throwing away a tattered lawn sign. I explained the situation. He nodded, clearly aware of how absurd it was. He said he had to go through the motions, walked across the street, and returned the sign to their yard. Meanwhile, the couple sat on their porch like villains in a low-stakes sitcom, muttering about trespassing and property rights as if I'd vandalized their home instead of throwing away a 2-week-old sign. Then, seeing I wasn't in handcuffs, they huffed and shuffled back inside. That's when I decided I was done being the nice guy. I snapped a photo of the sign and pulled up our HOA's bylaws. There it was in black and white. Temporary lawn treatment signs must be removed within 72 hours of service completion. That sign had been sitting there well over 2 weeks. So I wrote a friendly email to the HOA. I attached the photo, explained that the sign had long outstayed its welcome, and noted the irony of being reported for tossing trash that was technically a violation of our HOA rules. I didn't make it personal, no rants, no backstory, just the facts. I clicked send and felt a satisfying wave of calm. Here's the thing. They wanted to make a big deal out of something tiny, hoping to get me in trouble. But in the process, they highlighted their own negligence. If they're going to be sticklers for the rules, they better be ready to follow them too. I don't know if they've heard from the HOA yet, but I noticed the sign was gone the next morning. No note, no acknowledgement, just vanished like it had never been there. And now, every time I see them glance in my direction, I smile and wave just like I always did, maybe even a little bigger than before. It's wild to think someone would involve law enforcement over a flimsy plastic sign, especially when my only intention was to keep the neighborhood tidy. But if their goal was to make me feel bad or back off, they failed.